Coming to you from the UltraStaff Studios in Chicago, welcome to the Staffing Buzz Network with your host, Bob Petke. Hello and welcome back to the Staffing Buzz Network. I am Bob Petke. I am your host of the Staffing Buzz Network, and I am also the Chief Sales Officer here at Automated Business Designs. We at Automated Business Designs have an ATS CRM software solution that's called UltraStaff Edge. It's used by staffing companies all over the country. And we're coming to you with the Staffing Buzz Network with the intent to add value to the staffing community. We have subject matter experts on our podcast. And we actually have one today that I wanted to introduce you to. Lee Castine, if you can bring Lee to the stage, that'd be great. Lee, hey, welcome to the Staffing Buzz Network. How are you today?
Man, doing great, Bob. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
Hey, we're glad to have you here. I'm going to let the audience know a little bit about you before we dive into some questions. But Lee is a seasoned sales leader with over 6 years of experience in the payroll and staffing industry. Lee is the Vice President of Sales for VensureHR Staffing Alliance. Lee drives growth and fosters flexible solutions for staffing companies across North America. With a proven track record of increasing business and expanding markets and building lasting client relationships, Lee's got a passion about supporting staffing companies by delivering customized solutions to save time, reduce risk, and drive business success. So Lee, we're glad that you're here, and not only all that, Lee, but as a team member with Venture, you're also one heck of a partner for our organization as we work hand in hand on a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a long history with ABD and UltraStaff, and acquired a division partner, and we'll go through that as we talk today because of the relationship. So, like I said, we're looking forward to being a part of this and love what you're doing for the industry of getting just more information out there. I think I watched 3 episodes yesterday to get ready.
Oh, awesome. Great. That means we have at least 3 more views, right? So we're in a pretty good spot with that. Lee, let's talk a little bit about, VensureHR, and then you're part of a, would you call it a division, a vertical? What would you call the VSA, the Venture Staffing Alliance?
Yeah, so VSA, Venture Staffing Alliance, is a complete division of Venture Employer Solutions, or VensureHR, Venture Solutions being the larger entity that holds us all. And we're a division completely and totally just in the staffing industry. It's all we do on a day-to-day basis, just like you guys.
Okay. So, one of the things that, we talked about offline as we prepped for this is, understanding what your own mission is, because, you're helping staffing companies grow their business, save time and money, and reduce risks. Talk to us a little bit about how working with you or your organization, how you're able to do some of those things.
Yeah, well, to start with, and kind of go back and paint a little picture here, VensureHR has a long history in the staffing industry. It started as a staffing-specific PEO in 2004, right? It's we were built on the staffing industry. It was back in the days of mod rates for PEOs. And by the way, since we're doing your workers' comp, we have to do your payroll.
Yeah.
Fast forward into 2014, a gentleman named Alex Campos came in and acquired 100% of Venture and said, I'm going to grow by acquisition and by putting internal salespeople in, because believe it or not, for the first 10 years, it was all channel partners, MGAs, bringing business in. So in the last 9 years, we've done close to 80 different acquisitions. We put in 250 internal salespeople, and I was part of the 6th acquisition. So I go back, quite a way to that process. Even though it's only been 6 years, it kind of feels like almost a lifetime. And then we went back about 4 years ago. Brian Urso, our division president, which you know very well, reached out to Alex and said, Alex, we love the growth. We love where we're going. The internal salespeople, right? This is all awesome. I mean, I'm sitting in an office here in Chandler, Arizona. It's 100,000 square feet. So we're very excited about where we're going. But we kind of do. We were honest with him. We said, hey, we feel like we've kind of moved away from the staffing industry, and our DNA is still there, right? We love it. And he agreed completely immediately and said, okay, go build it. So Brian put together an entire division that only deals with staffing companies. We have staffing accounts right now in every single state, Alaska, Hawaii, everywhere. And we can move you along the process in many different ways, which we'll go over. So I think that's our key point, right? Is that we were built for it. We understand and moved away from it. And then we came back to it and built it even stronger. We're continuing to do this with our partnerships every single day.
No, and I appreciate that. And one of the things that I know from being in the industry so long is some of the pain points that, staffing companies have, big or small. And one of them actually, has to do with maybe even for somebody that's starting up, how do I want to do this? Do I want to self-fund it? Do I want to be a PEO? And then what are the pain points that somebody has? And you talked a little bit about, workers' comp, and you talked about, mods and things like that. Picture a world where somebody's maybe decided they're going to open up their own staffing company, or they're going to make a shift in their paradigm on how they do business. Maybe they've only done direct hire staffing, and they've decided they want to take on, contingent labor. What would be some of the things that you could offer them? Because maybe they can't fund it themselves. What would be some of the things that Venture would be able to bring to an upstart company, or maybe somebody that's making a shift? What are some of the products, the services that you think somebody would benefit through with a VensureHR, and then yours specifically?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So part of this acquisition process, right? These were strategic acquisitions, and he did this in a way that would allow us to move in a very quick manner. We actually call it in-house violent execution. We believe we want to get something out to the marketplace right away. It's an old tech term used. We want to get something to the market. We want to help the market make us build it and make it better. So during this acquisition process, when we meet with a client, we do a complete diagnostic, right? We want to learn what they're doing, where they're going, how they've done it in the past, and what they're looking at in the future, because we're not a vendor in a box. We're not going to come and say, hey, here's what we have. If it works, great. If not, we're going to make it work, right? We truly want a relationship and a seat at the table, because we can take you from a PEO experience. Say you're coming in, you've got industry experience, you're a recruiter for years, or you had all these different things, and then you want to move into your own company. So maybe a PEO is a great scenario for you. So you're going to have PEO specific implementations people, sales people, payroll people, client relations, HR. Everyone is built within VSA. Then as you grow, or you're a larger client and more of an ASO or an HCM or a payroll only, or even augmented sales, which is maybe what we would call our EOR, which is much different than normal EOR. It allows the staffing company to grow quickly into other states they may have not have been in, to make sure it's somewhere they want to go and grow. So through this, we have this technology stack using the Prism technology. We have streamlined HR administration, payroll processing, risk management, but we're going to put you in the bucket that's best for you, not in the only bucket we have to offer. So I hope that answers that. There's a lot there, and it's a long process. No,
I appreciate that, and it does make sense, right? Because one of the things when we look at VSA, the Venture Staffing Alliance, is that you are tied in with some of the major influencers and organizations that make the staffing world go round. I know that you guys are a partner with ASA. You are an SIA member, and the only major HR and payroll company with a staffing specific division, which is really what VSA is all about, which I think is fantastic. So, you've got a foothold on the marketplace. You've got some service offerings that are game changers and differentiators for people that are running an organization or looking to make a shift in how they run their business. And I think you really talked about it. You're definitely more than just a PEO company with some of the service offerings that you have. Is there anything else that comes to mind as we, kind of look to make a transition in our conversation? But anything more about the VensureHR umbrella that you offer to the staffing community that you feel like people should know or maybe take advantage of or consider?
Well, I like how you said it. And that's how we look at it as a staffing community, right? We really want to be a part of this community. We really want to be that expert they can come to. I tell people I meet every single day, call me with any questions you have. We have people on our staff that are third generation, which we'll get into. Matt Kaplan very well, right? Okay. Third generation staffers that own complete companies that work with us. And And we just want to be that resource, just like you're doing, Bob, right? Which is why I think what you're doing is such a great thing. We're not all necessarily going to push VSA or push UltraStaff Edge, but we're going to push the industry. We believe in the industry. We believe in what it's doing. We believe in putting people to work. And we like working through those technical challenges that come. We have people that come from overseas to us that come to the United States, and they're like, wow, they call it the United States, but you're really like 50 different countries, right? Every state has a different compliance measure, has a different tax code, has a different things, and some states have multiple tax codes. So that's who we want to be. We just want to be that resource for compliance and knowledge.
Yeah, and I think that having that type of a resource available to somebody, it's just a great place and space for you to operate with inside. To your point and the collective point of this conversation, the staffing community. I want to ask you this. So it probably seems obvious to you. Maybe not so much to myself yet, or maybe I've gotten a glimpse already from the relationship that we have. But let me know your take on what makes your organization different from the competitors.
Yeah, once again, and I'm going to keep kind of going over this process with what we do internally. It's our service offerings.
Okay.
When we come to any of the majors, right? And when I say major, we do $38 billion in annual payroll. We pay 1 million people a pay period. I mean, we are a major player in the industry. And you're not going to have a staffing specific division. When you come to us, you talk about bill no pays or pay no bills or out of cycle payrolls or multiple batches or same days. And it's not that these other systems that are out there in the market don't have the capability, but if you don't understand the industry and have the SOP written for your people to follow it, they're just going to say no. And we try to train our people that no sometimes is an answer, right? Sometimes no is a perfectly and good answer to a situation, but we don't start there. Okay. We want to start with the process and the situation. So I think that's what's different with us, is that when you come in as a PEO and you grow, and a PEO is not the best place for you anymore. Or if you come in as an ASO and we're like, hey, with your growth strategies, a PEO is going to help you to grow faster. We're going to allow you to go in and out of those areas and still work with the same group of people. When you go with another company and you come in as a PEO, when you need to change, you're not just changing your setup, you're changing the people you work with, the people that know your business, the people you build relationships with. And we believe the relationship is the most important thing along with our people.
Excellent. Lee, there's lots of staffing companies out there. I forget what the number is, 25,000 plus. They come in all shapes and sizes. There's some that do contingent labor. They do temp to hire. They do contract work. They do direct hire. And the industries, light industrial, professional. Is there a specific type of staffing company that fits the model when you're looking to partner with them and them with you?
Well, I think the specific industry, no, right? Okay. We could write all industries. We have an extremely strong workers' comp program that has worked in the staffing industry for 20 years. So our underwriters underwrite only staffing companies. They understand the industry, they know what to look for. We just want people that just want to run a compliant, safe, sound company that aren't going to take risks, right? Okay. We're going to take that risk on with them and be a partner to allow them to move forward. And I'm looking for companies that, like most companies want to, but it's hard as in growth phases. But we find out in growth phases, there's not a lot of problems because it's easy to throw money at problems to do what we believe is solving them. So we also want to be that partner in times of retention. When you're pulling back, what can we do to help streamline the process? How can our billing be so clear that you're going to know exactly where you're at all times? How are you not going to carry a large internal workforce that during these times is going to burden the company as you grow? How are you not going to have only 1 or 2 internal people and then you can grow because it's so hard to get internal staff these days because of benefits and all these things you need to offer? It's completely different. So we just want to be a partner, and I think we're not a vendor. When people call us a vendor or a PEO, I kind of lose it, because there's so much more to us, and that's why I was looking forward to this opportunity to be able to share how much more it is, because it's hard just to give it out in a sentence or two.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. A very similar mindset to how we go to market, even to the point where, we are somewhat selective when we're partnering with somebody. So we'd like to think that if somebody is an existing client of ours or partner with us, that they, there's a reason for it. There's a quality about the way they go to market. There's a quality about the way they do business. There's even a quality about the individual that you're working with, right? We work with and are very specific in working with people that are likable and trustworthy and honest. And it sounds to me like that's a big part of what you are looking for in some of the folks that you work with. And when you do that, Lee, as you know, you're no longer a vendor, but you are that partner that you're talking about.
Yeah, just like you guys, working with you guys, in my email, my cell phone number's in there, right? When I say we're available, I love the industry. I was self-employed for 18 years, working at Venture. I went to work for the payroll company that did my payroll. I had 120 internal employees. Because I became friends with the guy. And I'm like, wow, this is just so neat. It's great to help somebody, because back then it was all small business stuff, their first garnishment or their first unemployment claim, or how do I get people back to work in a loss control issue? And then as my experience and my knowledge grew in the industry, I had an opportunity to move over. Brian asked me to come into VSA. I just every single day, I'm the guy first in the office, one of the last to leave and always available, because I love what I do and it's not work. And I truly feel like it's a commercial of saying it, but it's the truth. I absolutely love what I do.
Perfect. Yeah. And you talked, as we switch gears here a little bit, you talked about, these acquisitions, the very strategic acquisitions that have happened, over the years. And, I could speak personally to one of the companies that was involved in that, with Ultra Staff Edge. We have partnered with Sunset Cove, which, originated with, part of that group was Matt Kaplan. But Sunset Cove, they offer those solutions for back office, payroll solutions, and they do it specifically on our software, right? Where if we've got a new client that's come on, or somebody wants to perhaps outsource some of that the functionality, you've got a terrific arm of the organization under Sunset Cove that can do that. I know you've worked with that group as well. What can you share about Sunset Cove and why staffing companies are partnering with that part of your organization?
Wow, I think it's the most powerful part of the company we have. I believe, as far as staffing is concerned, it's the smartest, most strategic acquisition that Brian asked Alex to be a part of, and Alex seen it right away and moved as quickly as we could. And it's because I don't believe that anybody outside of your organization themselves knows your software as well as Matt Kaplan does in his company, right? They really dive into the software. They really know the use of it. They really know the case management and how people can use it and change it to whatever they personally need. So by bringing Matt Kaplan in, who's a third-generation staffer who owns his own staffing company, lives and breathes, and then him and his brother believe, hey, I believe we do this better than most, the back office part, right? The billing, the invoice, the accounts receivable, all that non-revenue generating things. So they started Sunset Cove Solutions with you guys. And it just became just such a great engine that we can come in now. And if you're happy with your payroll, which we hope you are, right? If you're happy with your workers' comp, if you're happy with all of these things, but you're having a hard time growing, you're having a hard time managing your internal staff to get you into the revenue generating, you're an owner that's spending so much time in the company, you're not working on the company. Well, then that's when Matt can come in, and he puts together a complete audit process, puts an SOP together for your business, learns how you're doing things, pick up where your inside office is, expands it where you can grow to as big as you want to be and never have to worry about growing internally. And then also he gives you ideas. Hey, here's what I've seen over the other 40 companies we deal with in their back office. Here's how other people have solved this problem. Here's how other people have gone and used Ultra Staff Edge, to their most advantage. And moves it in that way. So bringing Matt on and having that person that I can call anytime with questions has been one of the biggest advances we've made in the last 2 years, without a doubt.
Yeah, one of the things that I can tell you about from being in the staffing world for so long and working side by side with people in the community, and again, I'm probably stating something that's very obvious overall, is the biggest commodity that we have is time. And, with some of the solutions that we've already talked about, and we're talking specifically at this point with Sunset Cove and how we have that partnership with them and how they're able to take on the back office and the payroll, it's allowing staffing companies to do some things. You can do business quicker. you can do it better, you can do it faster, and you don't need all those resources tied up into your organization, consumed with time to handle those tasks. Instead, Sunset Cove can take that on. And the reason I bring this up is that by taking advantage of a Sunset Cove as they partner with us, or some of the other things that Venture does, the thing that I'm seeing is that it's freeing up people inside the staffing office, inside a local branch. It's freeing up their time from doing some of these task-oriented duties, and they're allowed to do some things. They're allowed to spend more time trying to find new applicants. They're allowed more time to spend with existing employees, maybe in the temporary world, the contingent labor. It's allowing them an opportunity to go after new business because they're freed up from some of those other tasks. And finally, there's 4 points there. It's allowing them an opportunity to tend to those existing relationships. And just like we try to build partnerships with them, you're often going to find that staffing companies are looking to forge a partnership with the companies that they provide people for. So really, it becomes a win-win-win for everybody that's involved in some of the things that we bring as an organization through our ATS and our CRM, but it also the partnership with Venture and some of the different umbrellas taking on some of those options to help run their business is really quite extraordinary.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And time and efficiencies is time, and time is money. But also, let's not forget, we're all still people too, right? We still have families, and we have children, and we have all these things, but we have a great responsibility to our workforce. And when we have be it 10 people out in the field, or we have 10,000 people out in the field, that's just responsibility to them. And if we're spending all that time internally in accounts receivable or in an accounting format of just doing internal measures, and then we're not out there working on our brand or growing our business or helping our employees grow in some type of different HR type of ways, I think we miss out on what life's really supposed to be about, right? We are supposed to enjoy what we do, and I think he helps with all that.
No doubt about it. Lee, I wanted to get into this conversation where it's there's a few times of year where you individually or your organization, you get to go out and meet and address the trends as they relate to your business and how you partner with staffing companies in the community. I know that you've got things planned, for Staffing World this fall. What can you share with the audience as it relates to, perhaps Staffing World, which is going to be held this fall in Nashville? Anything you can add or share with the group that you guys are going to do as an organization?
Well, Staffing World's kind of like our Super Bowl, right?
Okay.
The Super Bowl, when you go to the Super Bowl, you keep your playbook secret. No, I'm just kidding. So, no, our partnership with ASA has been amazing. They are such a great partner. They're completely open, and they're, once again, just pushing on how to go forward in the staffing world. We have weekly conversations with them. They invite us into their board meetings. We really get to know the inner workings of it, and it's fascinating everything they do for the industry. So going into something like Staffing World, we start Staffing World for us in January, February, March, right? So we do their executive vision, and then the next thing we talk about is staffing law, and then all of a sudden it's Staffing World. But our entire year, our marketing department's working towards Staffing World because it is our Super Bowl. So we'll bring probably 15 to 20 of our people. Our chief revenue officer is going to come. We're probably have 4 chiefs in the building. So we have buy-in right from the highest levels, of VensureHR, which is great. So a lot of system and subject matter experts. But I think the biggest thing once is to show the relationship we want to build with the industry. But as far as a little teaser of what we're going to do is we've built out our own HCM. Okay. And I actually was on a phone call with Russ Sickliffe, our chief of revenue for Prism HR, and asked if we could release it today. He got the permission. And he said, yeah, he'll be at Staffing World giving a talk for us. So there's 2 things that I want to say about Staffing World. So one is we'll be releasing an HCM product for the end user. But I think something that's more important that hasn't been done yet is this product's also going to be used for staffing companies to become payroll bureaus, right? So Imagine a staffing company with your end user, and you have your employees, But then what happens if you could talk to that client that you have the relationship and take over their payroll also, right?
Okay.
So with our tech stack, they're going to be able to do that, if they want. They have the relationship. They're already running payroll for their internal employees. Why not take over the internal staff also become a payroll bureau? So there's a little teaser on the HCM that's be coming out, which I think is going to be just obviously the next huge push of what we're doing.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 questions that popped in my head. I'm going to keep them quiet for now.
Yeah, but I promise you'll get the first, when we get out, and maybe we can get some samples of the tech and things like that. And I'd love to have you involved in those things.
Awesome.
Another great thing is because of our partnership, they allow us to put on panels and discussions. And a lot of times when people take advantage of these opportunities, there's huge marketing spend in this. They use it to push their company, their brand, what they can do. We decided to go a different way. We're going to invite some of the top PEOs in the entire industry, where people would consider our competitors. And we're going to ask them to sit on a panel with us. And we want to talk to the staffing world as a unified force of why a PEO is a good choice for many staffing companies they're not thinking of. So it's not us against them. I never look at us against them. We want the industry as a whole. You mentioned 25,000 staffing companies, right? It's a large industry. We believe there's a big pie out there. We don't need the whole pie. We've never been. We want to be agnostic to the industry, and we want to be able to come in as an industry. We want to lift it. We want to bring the entire PO industry with us into the staffing world and let staffing companies know this is a great place for you that you want to be aware of, because there's so many misinformations out there about what a PEO does, and the control they take, and all these different things that happen. So we're going to ask the industry to come with us and do it as a unified force and sit on a stage and do a open question and answer from the audience of when a PEO is great for a staffing company. And then of course, we're going to say when it's not great, because it's not a good fit for everyone. And that's why I want to make sure we can go through other options for a company.
Right. Yeah. I'll be interested to see how that works, right? Because that's, we're always looking for the greater good of the organization individually, but we're also looking for the community, and that'll be an interesting one to attend. So for those that are planning on going to Staffing World, keep an eye out for that PEO panel conversation. Lee, I'm going to do something to you. I'm going to get real close. I'm going to get real serious. Okay. Lee, I want you to picture a world where you, Lee Castine, you have a crystal ball, okay? And you're taking a peek at this crystal ball. You're looking into the future with VensureHR, and you're looking at a year from now. What would you prognosticate? What would you forecast would be the biggest impact that you and your organization is going to have on the staffing community between now and then? Are you looking at it? Are you seeing it?
Yeah, I'm trying to look out into the future. I love this one. I love that you kind of caught me a little off in this, because it's a great question. And I really want to go back, and not to be repetitive, but it's what we believe, right? I just really wanted people to look back and say, wow, they really cared about helping staffing companies navigate the talent landscape or changing that industry, right? Adventure was really about raising all ships. Adventure was about it's part of its PEO industry. Adventure was about providing innovative solutions to improve efficiency and profitability to the staffing company, which is why we're doing the staffing world stuff, which is why we just want to be that expert, which is why we're doing things like this. It helps us, but I hope it helps the entire industry.
Yeah. No, and as I look in my crystal ball and I look at Venture, I see some things in particular. One of them potentially is, these different offerings that maybe we don't even know about yet. Things that are only ideas, or maybe an acquisition away between now and then, that could, have a great impact on, Venture as an organization and the community collectively and individually. So really, really good conversation. Again, here at ABD with our UltraStaff Edge software, we're just so thankful to be tied so closely and have that partnership which you speak about. And specifically, we make a lot of traction with Sunset Cove and the partnership there with the integration to be able to outsource some of the payroll invoicing and all of those things. It's a great service offering that you have, and I think it further strengthens the community as a whole. So, Lee, one last thing. What's going to be the best way for somebody to connect with you? We'll put this in comments here as well on our feed. But what's the best way for somebody to connect with you if they want to learn more about what you're doing at the organization? More specifically, your side of the business, your VSA side of the business.
Yeah, it's Lee.Castine at venture.com. LinkedIn always, right? We always use LinkedIn as a great source. So, and just reach out, give me a call, send me an email, and we can have further discussions. And no matter where you're at, or if you're going to be at your next big staffing event, along with you guys, we're usually at most of the major staffing events and a lot of the regional. We were just with you at Midwest, which was an amazing one of the best regional events I've ever been at.
Yeah, they really do. They put on a great event. Very speakers are great. The partners are great, and it's one that I think we should have others that are doing what we do look into in the future.
Yeah.
We're so glad to have you here. I look forward to future conversations with you, my new friend, and seeing you at upcoming events. I've got my eye out on Staffing World, so we'll be looking forward to seeing you then, and hopefully we'll have you on again sometime down the road.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate the time, and we'll be speaking soon. Thanks, Bob.
Great, thank you. That's Lee Castine. He's over there at Venture, and they're just doing some really powerful things, making an impact on our staffing world with some of the things that Lee mentioned earlier on. And again, if you want to get a hold of him, it's we're going to have all that information posted here. So with that said, and I say it all the time, make sure you're telling people to subscribe to our podcast on all the major platforms. They can go ahead and see us on YouTube. We're always updating on LinkedIn. You can also, if you want to learn more about our software, our ATS, our CRM, our front office, our back office, and the things that we do, you could always email me, give me a call, visit our website. We'll have some of that on our outro screen here as well. And again, thank you so much for listening. We are so glad to be able to bring the Staffing Buzz Network to you. And until next time, I'm Bob Petke, and we'll see you again here real soon. Thanks, everybody.